talks about partnership. So I think CSR and looking at sort of post-conflict recovery and looking at environmentalism within the development space and looking again at logistics and operations and all of that kind of that good stuff. So we're always privileged to have somebody from the academic sector join us here on stage. We're very interested to hear what you have to say. And Mr. Walid Ibrahim from the UNHRD, who is a very, I would say, one of the people who has probably one of the most valuable...
A strong, governance and communication and coordination is very important to coordinate all these different agencies, partners, private sector, NGOs. So we have in Turkey a disaster management and disaster response plan. We are, following this plan in case of any disasters. All the stakeholders, they should work under our coordination in terms of disaster management here. I would like to brief you regarding the catastrophic earthquake last, 2 years ago we faced in Turkey, unfortunately, as you showed.
Thank you.
Okay, in particular with Rotary, we are connected. First of all, they paid a visit to Dubai Humanitarian some time ago. And even during their own visit, I proved them that my previous life, we used to partner with Rotary, southeast of Italy, when we were doing quite a lot of initiatives, so partnership is there. I believe that on the 24th of May, I've been invited to speak into the Rotary Club, but let me add only a comment on the last couple of few minutes. I believe that even from the humanitarian colleagues, we have to stop in thinking that the private sector are a sort of ATM machine. They have been always extremely generous, but we have to treat them as a win-win part. We cannot take only and exclusively their own generosity. As mentioned by Nick, I believe that we have quite a lot to learn from them. They can support us in the research, in the new technologies, in their own new approaches, especially in this particular moment where funding are shrinking, and is also our own, from our own side, to start in avoiding duplication, to start in partnering among the humanitarian community, because let's just be honest, we are still working on silos. That is the point.
Thank you. Yep. And I think we're just about to finish up. So what I might do is ask the other members of the panel just to maybe give us some takeaway reflections or thoughts on this topic of partnership and sustainability and innovation. Yeah.
On the private sector side, or
no, just in general takeaway from the panel. Yeah.
When it comes to innovation and sustainability and partnership, I think we should start, and we have started, to move away treating sustainability as a separate topic. When you innovate, sustainability should be mainstream. We have introduced in the innovation program that we have put together, thanks also to Jose Valdivia speaking with the Innovation Accelerator in Munich, where innovation happens through series of readiness levels, whether it's technical, whether it's socioeconomic or environmental, and it progresses through those readiness levels at the same time across the board. So sustainability should not be an afterthought. It's mainstream in your process of innovation. And I think this is how we at least have adopted the concept and the service offer that we're giving to our partners as they are looking for their own respective innovations, and offering this process and the program to the partners of Humanitarian, where sustainability is embedded into the innovation process and not a separate topic. if I can, just because I wanted to go back to just very briefly on this issue of private sector and partnership. And I think I'm going back to what you said, Mahed, at the beginning of your, or at the end of your intervention. You spoke about humanity. And without being too romantic, but I think on the private sector side, there is a component of that that needs to grow a bit more. Every time we speak with the private sector, rightfully so, one of the points that is always put at the table is, well, of course we want to give back to society, but don't forget, we have our shareholders that we have to respond to. And we do understand that. The end, that bit of humanity and understanding that, yes, you have your shareholders, but you have an existential and social responsibility to give back, and needs to grow more. It shouldn't be a budget line in your CSR column, right, that you sort of put aside every. It's got to be part of what you do.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure you agree. Yeah, actually, maybe good point. We'll hand over to Mr. Yaman now, but yeah, maybe some closing thoughts from your side.
Yeah. Exactly. It's very important to encourage the private sector and the companies to take the social responsibilities, because they are not living in an isolated world different than us. We are living together in the same world. So they are also suffering the disasters and the crisis. So if they took this social responsibility and bring their power with the national governments, with the non-governmental organizations, even with the volunteers, it will bring a value to the community as well. It will encourage the community to engage with this kind of activities. Look, I just want to give you some examples from our side. Now we are operating our humanitarian activities actively in three countries, we say. In Bangladesh, in Egypt, and in Syria, we have teams now. Since 2017, we are in Bangladesh, in Cox's Bazar, due to the refugees forced from Myanmar come to Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. Well, since 2017, we are there, and we are working with the local community, with the government, with the government of Bangladesh, and non-governmental organizations and UN entities in the region. And of course, the same we are in Egypt. We are sending humanitarian assistance to Gaza through Al Arish, a port city of Egypt, and we are in a very close cooperation with the government of Egypt and with the Turkish Red Crescent, with the Egyptian Red Crescent. So we thankful and we are grateful to them because of without their support, their partnership, their collaboration, it is very hard to do this kind of activities. It's in Syria the same. Even just after the Russian-Ukraine crisis, we sent humanitarian assistance to the region with the collaboration of the EU civil protection mechanism and the host governments. So bring to this side in our country when we face these catastrophes like earthquakes in Istanbul, in Kahramanmaraş and Hatay, and we were in very close cooperation with the private sector, with the partners. Look, Turkish Airlines cargo carry out many flights to evacuate the people from the region to the safer places and bring our humanitarian needs from different parts of the world to Turkey. So this is a kind of the collaboration, the partnership. And the volunteers is very critical. Once again, I want to add is, okay, when we see it is very small, maybe part of the collaboration, but not. They are working in the field side by side with you. So it is very important. This is from my side to share with you to summarize the.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your summary. And I think we will end it on a final note from Professor Salvetti. Maybe you've got some strong opinions, some great opinions to share. So it'd be good to hear your final reflections, and we'll end after you. Yeah.
No, I would say that we cannot afford not to partner. And, you know, I would see the private sector for me is one of course, critical fundamental stakeholder that is with us. The issue is that the moment that we define very clearly what is the purpose of any partnership and what is our contribution to impact, I think having that focus might also embrace everybody, all sectors, to contribute and align resources towards that specific goal. And I feel that impact is important, always to keep in mind. And that's what I always tell to my students. Do not research for the sake of research. Do not innovate for the sake of innovation and, you know, publish it in an academic paper. Do it for impact, to contribute back to society. And that's, I think, is a goal that I think all sector, no matter all individual, I think would rely on and hopefully would then see that transformational change we would like to see. Thank you.
Oh, yep, one final point.
Yes, don't forget to partner in particular with the national disaster management agencies and with the local communities. Only then we can get a sustainable emergency preparedness and response.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for your time from our distinguished panelists, and also, of course, for the audience. We appreciate your time, your engagement, and yeah, on that note, thanks again to Dubai Humanitarian, to Dihad for hosting us today. We very much appreciate it, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, distinguished panelists and moderator. If you could please stay on stage, as Dubai Humanitarian would like to share a token of appreciation for your valuable time and valuable insights.
To validate our results, we performed simulations on a fluid dynamic software that we use in our program called ANSYS. So we saw that during the day, when the internal temperature of the tent reaches around 36 degrees, those capsules could absorb around 6 degrees worth of heat, lowering the internal temperature of the tent to around 29 degrees Celsius. And at night, when the external temperature reaches around 15 degrees, that heat is released back into the enclosure to around 22 degrees. So that explains the idea and the process behind our packaging. Now allow my colleague Hannah to run you through the cost.
Okay, so after we conducted the thermal analysis, we went on feasibility study, and the first part we tackled was cost. So when we did the cost analysis, we used commercial data available, mainly for the PCM encapsulation, for the aluminium PLA and the cotton jute. So while doing our study, we based on a size of one family tent for 5 people. And we found that the area of that tent would be around 50 meters square, so we based our cost based on that. So to line one tent, it would cost around 1,565 dirhams. But as he showed on the illustration, we will design it in a way that it's modular design, so it can be designed in a smaller packaging way, but also when it goes inside, it can be assembled to line the full tent. Next slide, please. All right, next on our feasibility studies, we went on to possible collaborators, because obviously if we're pushing this forward, we're gonna need people who are already working the process we're tackling. So mainly we've identified that there is already a company who works with tent lining, so there could be our possible collaborators with the possibility of either implementing our solution to their already existing system or replacing it with our solution. And also we'll need to be working on with the current Tapli tents, so that's where we're going to be applying our tent linings. And next are the packaging collaborators. Sorry, darling, the previous slide. Yes. Next would be the packaging collaborators. These are companies that are working to produce already thermal insulating packaging. So they would want to use our product because it is multi-purpose. And yeah, these are the two collaborators we've identified. Next. Alright, based on that, currently we're at the stage of where we have gone through the literature study and the simulation study, and now we are at the stage where we're moving forward to the prototyping and where we want to have a physical prototype to test. So currently we're at this stage, so now we'll be working on the physical prototyping, mainly because we want to take on a physical study to validate our thermal performance studies, but also tackle the issue of durability, which we had a stall over there throughout these 3 days, and a lot of people have outlined that it needs to be durable, and they've also given us feedback on what other possible areas it could be used at. And we might have our first client who would want to use it for her gym, so hopefully that shows the use of our solution. And after that, we want to move to the iteration and refinement. That's where we want people who work in the humanitarian sector to take on our product to their site, taste it, see how it can be used, and use it, taste it, and give us feedback on how we can improve it as well. And next, inshallah, hopefully we'll move to the final evaluation where we would go to mass production and actually see it get implemented. Yes, next slide. And also one issue we are facing, because it was also raised here, is the issue of it being recycled. And as of now, PCM materials are not recycled easily, especially cannot be recycled on site in refugee camps. So we thought of having it repurposed, especially bring it back to the site of production and having it a commercial use. So we've identified it could be possibly reused for majlis tents here, where we have camps out, and it could be used as internal shading in cabins, resorts, or even at our houses really. And then possibly could be used actually to make it as a tent and use it for camping purposes, because this is something we've identified, because when it's increased use, there will be a decrease in production costs. So now, next slide, we will go through.
To conclude, we'd like to quickly show you a video that we prepared last year for the packaging design competition, where we showed how we were conceptualizing attaching the material to the tent would go down. You would have Velcro straps attached to both the material and the tent that would easily snap into place. And then for our second video, we would like to show you how a fully lined tent might look like. Next slide, please. Something to this effect. This is for a camping tent, which is what was available to us, of course. But of course, our idea was, of course, to originally apply this to a refugee tent. And that about concludes our presentation. Thank you.
What do you want to keep? This one? Thank you.
Thank you.
Closing address to this conference, which has been extremely interesting. You see the attendance at the end. Yes, we still have the full room. I think partly because you will come in. but thank you very much. Thank you for the story.